Today I'm going to give a brief overview of how to use the forward sampling simulation. So one thing we can do if we want to just quickly get up and running, we can press this button, create student graph, which will set up kind of the student graph that we see in the Collar and Friedman book, and sets up the values for each of those nodes kind of according to logical values and CPDs. And so then we can just run generate sample, press generate sample, and we see that the sample we get is that the value of D is hard, I is dumb, G is B, that's a letter grade, S is good, and L is good. And if we scroll down, we can see how were each of these values chosen. So we see that the first sample was taken on D, which was unconditional, there's no parents. And then the next one was I, which is also unconditional because there's no parents. And we had a 70% chance of choosing hard and 30% chance of choosing easy for D, and then 50-50 for I, and then and so on. And then we see we see G has parents I and D, and so if we look here, it says G given parents D hard, I dumb. So that means that the value of D was sampled as hard, I was sampled as dumb, and this is the conditional probabilities then with which G was sampled, and similar thing for S and for I. Now, if we want to create our own graph, not just use the student graph, what we can do is add some nodes. We can say add node A, add node B, add an edge between them. Then we can set the values for the nodes. So let's say that A can take on values 1 or 2. We provide this as a comma separated list. Then we see this gets added to the node values table. We want to add values for B as well, 1 and 2. We see those values get added there as well. Now, so we want to add the CPDs. So let's say A, parent assignment, we just leave it empty because A has no parents. Node value, we'll say 1, we'll say it has probability 0.7. We'll see that gets added to the CPD table. Now, let's say its other value is 2, gets probability 0.3. And it's important that these two probabilities add up to 1, 0.7 and 0.3, because we need the CPDs to be normalized. Now, B, it does have parent assignments, because A could be either 1 or 2. So we specify this with this syntax, that A equals 1. And if we had more parents, like say C was also parents, we would say C equals 4. We would just have a comma separated list of node value and the assignment. So here is just A equals 1. So the probability that B takes on value 2, given that A equals 1, let's say is 0.3. And the probability that B takes on node value 1, given A equals 1, is 0.7. Again, this needs to be normalized. And now let's say, given that A equals 2, maybe it's a 50-50 between B being 1 or 2. So now we've specified our node values, we've specified their CPD, we can generate a sample here. And the sample generated is that A equals 1 and B equals 1. And to see how that was generated, A is taken with the unconditional distribution, 0.3, 0.7, and then B is taken with the conditional on A being 1. Alright, and if you have any feedback, please click on this PGM Learning, go to feedback, and just type in anything, and I'll try to improve it. Thank you.